Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Man United Agenda, where we discuss all topics Manchester United. My name is DOS, and I'll be your host for today's show. Back with us on the show, we have the legend, Mr. B, and we have the Queen, I say, Amy. Amy, welcome to the show. Amy, do you want to let them know where they can find you before we start?
Yeah, so obviously down below, you can follow me on Twitter, and it's U18, but I'll also be hosting a lot more over on the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk. Now, it was the Weekly Armchair Kickoff, but we've rebranded because we're going to be covering a lot more sports now. So we're actually going to cover basketball, MMA, WWE, as well as football. So any interest in any of those, make sure you go over and sub, because there'll be loads of shows coming up soon.
That's great. That's great. And you know where you can find Mr. B, always on here on the Man.
Always here.
Anywhere else I can find you, Mr. B?
No, just always here. Just always here.
Amazing. And on today's show, we're going to discuss the latest transfer news for Manchester United, the ins, the outs, what's happening in the last few days that we've heard that could be credible and that could affect the start of our season. Before we start, though, can you guys make sure you subscribe, you like, you follow all of our pages, and so that you can be updated with all the new content that we're going to be bringing to you guys. So let's get straight into it. First topic that we want to discuss is it's a topic that we hear every summer, Paul Pogba. So recently what we've heard is Paul Pogba's team have been communicating and they've been communicating allegedly with PSG. You know, there's been report, even Sergio Ramos now has signed for PSG. Today he came out praising Paul Pogba, saying how he likes Paul Pogba. So there's something fishy going on there. And Paul Pogba, as we all know, has 1 year left on his contract. So we either can take the risk of losing him on a free next season, or he can leave now. Because right now there's no negotiations with Paul Pogba and Manchester United, according to Fabrizio Romano. So that's a big talking point. I want to bring out to you guys. How do you think Paul Pogba will be a Manchester United player come first game of the season in a couple of months? I'm going to bring it to you, Mr. B, first.
Yes. I want him to be. My heart and my heart's telling me yes. My head's telling me no.
Fair enough. Amy?
I think because this comes around so often, I think he actually will become the new season. He will be at Manchester United, because I feel like it's just a thing to kind of spur Manchester United and give him a bigger contract, even though they've already said that they would give him a bigger contract. But it's just something that always pipes up in the media every international break, every summer. And it's mainly down to Mino Raiola, really. But
yeah,
to be honest, I do think he will be Manchester United player in September. Whether he's going to sign a new contract or not, we don't know. But I think letting Paul Pogba go on a free next summer is ridiculous.
I know,
especially the money they could get for him. Like, so
imagine that.
He doesn't. If he wants to go, they're best off letting him go in the summer and getting the money for him. I mean, if he doesn't want to stay at Manchester United, don't stay. Like, it's the same with us. If we're in a job we don't like, we're not going to want to stay in the job, you know. So if he doesn't want to stay at Manchester United, let him go, get money for him. But I think it'd be ridiculous letting go on a free, to be honest.
I think you guys mentioned a really, really good point actually earlier on, just before we came on the show. The issue is not letting him go. The issue is replacing him. That's the biggest thing. Like, who do you replace Paul Pogba with in this market, in this state? And it has to be someone that has his attributes too. I mean, there's not many players in the world that have his attributes. So I think that's going to be the biggest challenge for Manchester United if we lose him this season. And, you know, some people said maybe Van der Beek could step up to the plate, but I see them as two completely different players that do different jobs. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know how it's going to go, whether he's going to stay or not. I see Big Phil in the comments asking to mute me because of this. So we'll move on from Paul Pogba. Let's go to our next topic of discussion. And this was a surprise that came up that we saw recently. Danny Ings. Danny Ings declined a contract extension at Southampton. He has 1 year left on his contract, so clearly he wants to go. He wants to go to a bigger club. And to be honest, I think he's earned the right to go to a bigger club. He's been fantastic for Southampton. I've seen reports that Manchester United could be looking at this situation because United were looking at strikers, but they signed Cavani for another year. You know, we've got Greenwood that could possibly be pushed into the striker position now because we have Sancho on the right. What are you guys feeling about this situation? Would you want Manchester United to look at Ings? Let's go to you, Amy.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd like. My issue is obviously we have Mason Greenwood there, who is still yet to develop. I think he'll be a great striker in the next couple of years. But my issue is going with the older players that only have a season or two left within them. I'd rather get 24, 25-year-old who is established and having 4 or 5 years with us rather than the 1 or 2, because obviously we have Cavani, we had Ibrahimovic come in as well, who's only there for a couple of seasons. So I think it's time for us to actually look further and go and get a player that'll be with us for years rather than go and getting these older players who are only going to be with us for a season or two. I think they just need to dig deeper, to be honest.
But when you say young players, though, don't we have that in, let's say, the likes of Ahmad, but also the likes of Greenwood, who is young, who will play in that position. So, me personally, I feel like we need experience, balance of experience in the team too, because that's what has cost us when things got real. You know, when we got to the final stages of competitions, people bottled it because that mentality wasn't there. When Ibrahimovic was in the team, we won trophies. You know, so do you think that also is something that we should look at?
I just think down the line in a season or two, Greenwood is obviously going to have developed that bit more. But I think he's also going to need competition. And I think if you keep bringing in the older fellas, he's not going to have that much competition. So he's not going to have the drive. Like, look what happened when Tellez came into Shaw, for example. You kind of need the depth in the squad. And I think just bringing in the older players, I mean, it's good for an experience point of view, but I think you kind of need the depth in the squad as well and consistently rather than every season or two going off looking for another striker. So
fair enough. Mr. B, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the thing is I would rather there was no competition for Greenwood, and he just played every single game. And he just grew and grew and grew and learned on the job. But we've got Cavani. Now, everybody's expecting Cavani to play 60% of the games, which it's obvious there's another 40% for Greenwood to play. But is it that he doesn't trust Greenwood enough to feel that he could play? Because there's a lot of talk saying that he wants to buy another striker. Yep. Now, I'm thinking Greenwood, Cavani, Ahmad and Sancho and Martial and Rashford.
But you say that, but there's reports that Ahmad could be sent out on loan this season. We don't know if Oli wants to play Greenwood through the middle. He may still keep Martial and Cavani through the middle because he does like Martial. So
yeah.
So it's what we think what we may want to happen, but that situation that we think is likely may not even happen, having Greenwood through the middle right now.
I mean, look, I hope Ahmad doesn't get sent out on loan, because then we've wasted whatever we spent on him. We've bought him to be a Manchester United player. Don't disrespect him. He's already disrespected Donny, you know, so let's not take the mickey. I think that Ings, I like squad depth. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
If they go in for Ings and Ings has got 1 year left on his contract, and they're talking about, how old is Danny Ings?
20.
Okay.
He's even old. He's not that old. He's at the peak of his career right now.
I don't know. I mean, is Danny Ings the type of I know he's got the movement, but then isn't he I would say he's probably a better finisher than Rashford.
Definitely.
In all fairness.
Definitely.
But couldn't Rashford do that job if it's pace that they're looking for?
I don't think personally, and Amy, let me know what you think. I don't think Rashford is as intelligent as Ings, like footballing wise, to play that role, to play in between the lines, to get in those right positions, that striker predatory instinct. I don't think Rashford has that where Ings has that. Rashford has been he's too used to playing on that left side now, and I can't see him going back through the middle.
Yeah, no, I think Rashford is set to be playing on the right, to be honest, or the left. Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't want to see Rashford on the right anymore. But no, I do genuinely think Rashford is set to be playing on left now. He is getting surgery after the Euros, which is going to be massive at the beginning of the season. So it looks like Martial will probably be taking his space. But I do agree in a sense that Rashford probably doesn't have as much intelligence, which we did see throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I do agree with that, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know about Danny Ings though.
Fair enough. I hear you fully. Let's see what the comments are saying, because there's a lot of comments coming in where people actually mentioned some good points. Let's go from the beginning and see what they've been saying, and then we'll move on to the next transfer.
Let's have a look.
Just because it's interesting. Is this the beginning?
Yeah, so, these are our firsts, yeah.
So Linval saying, evening lads, looking forward to a good show. Thank you so much, Linval. Ethan, hello panel, hello. Mr. Big Phil, new OS, you want a new host? Okay, we've moved on from Pogba, we moved on. Errol, Solo, good evening. Ian, you're missing a Euro semi. Yes, we are, you are right. We're gonna get on it straight after this. Limval, I hope Pogba stays, but I don't see it happening. Solo, good evening, guys. Okay, keep going. Leave Pogba alone. All right. I don't believe Danny Ings would come Manchester United to sit on the bench. That's a good point. I think he needs minutes now. Munzi, hello, great show. Thank you, Munzi. Munzi again, and girls. There you go. Ian Shaw, Greenwood seems like a natural finisher, great striker prospect. I agree. I feel like he needs to bulk up. He needs to really take that position. It's going to be his. That's our next striker for the next, 15 years, I hope. So let's go.
Jesus, mad to think he's that young that he could be there for 15 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's beautiful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Big Phil, prefer Greenwood coming off the right. Wow, that's a big shout.
I get that, but he's a good finisher, so he'd be better off as a striker, to be honest. And he could learn off Cavani while he's here as well. So
yeah, exactly. I think Big Phil makes a point in terms of right now the physicality of Greenwood. He's suited better off the right. I think he would get bullied in the center. But if he gets a bit bigger, which happened to Rashford. Remember, Rashford was really small when he first started. And he got bigger, and I think that's what Greenwood needs to do, fill out. And then
Greenwood has filled out a little bit though, because Greenwood was very small there.
You're right.
Last season, the year before, but he has filled out since. But I think he does need to bulk up a bit more.
Do you think he needs to though? You've got to think about how football's played now. If he gets touched, he's falling down on the floor. That's how forwards play. So I'm not saying I want him to be falling down on the floor and flopping, but I'm saying, does he need to get what does he need to bulk up for?
I tell you what I think he needs to get bulk up for. The way we play with fast flanks, players on the flank, and we need a player in the middle that can guard the ball. Like kind of what Kane does for Spurs. We don't play exactly like
deep line midfielder, yeah?
Not a deep line midfielder, but link up with the players and to link up, to hold, protect the ball. You need to be strong on the ball. And I feel like if he comes across the likes of, your big defenders, I feel like they can bully him a little bit. I hope I'm wrong, but I can see where Big Phil was coming from there. But I see him as our striker for the future anyway. Danny Inzaghi is a poacher. The days of being a poacher are over. That's kind of sad to hear that. Munzi, now we have Sancho. Martial can play out wide and Greenwood through the middle instead. He may try that next season.
That's the last one there.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next transfer. Eduardo Camavinga. Now, you know what's interesting for me right now? On the net, when you see this news, it seems like all Manchester United fans have been watching and know this player for the last 4 or 5 years. Like, I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched this guy. All I know is there's been a lot of hype around him. I've done a bit of research in the last couple of days just to understand him a little bit more. He's not a defensive midfielder. Yes, people can play him there, but he's not. He's really like a Kante, but he has attributes of Pogba in terms of the way he drives with the ball. And at the same time, he's very tenacious. He breaks up play like Fred does as well. So there's
Fred's supposed to.
Fred's supposed to, as you say, okay, well, Fred is having a great Copa America right now.
Right, so Fred does break up play, but he loses the ball straight after. So
yeah, fair enough.
Completely pointless.
Fair enough. So with this kid, clearly there's a hype around him. Clearly at 30 million euros, that's a steal if the hype is real. Manchester United and PSG are supposed to be the two that are on him right now, even though there's other clubs. Man United are worried if they leave it until next year when he's a free agent, there's going to be more people involved and, you know, less chance of being able to get him. Now, he loves the idea of playing in the Premier League. Do you guys think this is a priority? Do you guys think Manchester United should go out and get him?
After you, AB.
I'll be honest, I have never seen Camavinga play, ever. So when his name popped up, I was like, who the hell is this guy? But I have heard people say that he's a young talent and he could be potentially very, very good, and United would be stupid not to go for him. Now, I did hear that he was more of a Paul Pogba type rather than a defensive midfielder. Now, I mean, by all means, depth is fine, but if we bring in Camavinga and Pogba stays, where does that leave Van de Beek? And we still need a defensive midfielder, which means we're still going to be playing McFred in midfield next season. Now, by all means, he's a young player, and I know Ollie has a way, and he has a plan. By all means, bringing in Amad Diallo, bringing in Palestri. Now, if he goes for Camavinga, he's trying to build a young squad, which is good. Obviously, he has a plan set, and he's going by his plan. But I mean, 30 million, why not? There could be loads of clubs going for him next season because his contract is up and he'll be on a free. So, I mean, by all means, if you want to build a squad depth, go for it. We've seen what happened last season when Pogba was injured. We were missing him a lot. Yeah. So I think if we have someone else to play his position, someone who has attributes of Paul Pogba, it could benefit us massively. Because Paul Pogba does get injured at some point every season. So, yeah, I think it would be great, to be honest. But I still think defensive midfielder is priority.
Mr. B?
Well, look, he's played for Rennes. He plays for Rennes, obviously. 35 games this season in Liga. 35 games in total this season. He started 28 as an 18-year-old.
Wow, that says a lot.
So he's ready to play. They've played him as the single pivot, which we screamed for, and he's played in the double pivot. So I think at his age, he is a midfielder who can do everything, but it would be nice for us or any club, I'm saying us because I want it to be us, to be able to train him to be a defensive midfielder. I think he's got those attributes, as you said, tenacious in the tackle, but his range of passing and the fact that he's left-footed, I think would give our midfield that balance. We say Matic has got good passing, no legs. Yeah. Obviously, there's going to be things that Camavinga can't do that Matic can do.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of things that he can do over Fred and a lot of things that he could do over McTominay. Now, whether or not the club are willing, I mean, 25 million is a steal.
Steal.
This 25 million pounds, sorry, it's 30 million euros. To me, not my money, but, you know, relative terms, if he is what everybody says they think he's going to be, then do the job.
Yeah.
Get the job, get it done. And then we move on to the next target. You know, these are players that we need. These are players that we really, really should be going for. Young, future, and it's in a position that we need. So yeah, I think that would be a positive signing for us moving forward.
Yeah, and just to wrap up on that subject, I mean, United have been looking at him for a while. It's not like it just popped up and they won a game. They've been scouting him for a while. It's just that for them, I think it was a surprise that he could become available and he's not signing a new deal. So if they've been scouting him, they like him, they're going to try and jump in at the opportunity if he's free. Okay, let's go to the next subject, and this is the one I think that excites me the most. Raphael Varane. Like, it excites me the most, but it terrifies me the most as well, because I remember that whole Sergio Ramos saga. well. And I know that's why I don't want to get excited, because you know it could be similar to that situation, you know. So deal I'm hearing is imminent. And then I'm also hearing that this is going to take long over the summer because it's a big deal. It's not a normal deal. That the fact that he has 1 year left, the fact that he wants a new challenge and he wants to come to the Premier League as well, that excites me. But you hear, you know, figures like 50 million for a player like Varane, one of the best defenders, center defenders in the world, and what that could do to Manchester United's defense and their team. Like, does this? Do you guys think like me, where you're terrified as well, or do you really think that this is going to happen and it's something? Because we all know and we all agree that we need a player like this next to Harry Maguire, right, Mr. B?
I'll be honest. If we got Varane, I would play with Manchester United on FIFA. Because then we have proper players at the back, not Lindelof or McTominay when you're struggling. On a real, there's world-class players and there's class players. I think he is at an elite level. What he's won recently, you don't hear about injuries.
Yeah.
You don't hear about, obviously he's a professional footballer, so he's going to live his life, right? There's no scandals.
No.
If he wants to come to us and we can get the deal done, I mean, we apparently we were looking at him last year and they were quoting 90 million. So if 45 million or 50 million is what we possibly get him for, then that improves our back line tremendously. I mean, you know, we talk about Maguire needing a partner. We signed that sort of player. To be linked with him is great, but let's be honest, man. We're gonna get all excited, and then we're gonna get a big wet fish right in the side of the face. So I want us to sign Varane. I really, really want us to sign Varane. I don't want to be that guy. Actually, do you know what? I want us to sign Varane. I'll take it. I want us to sign Varane. He will improve our team. Will he make us title contenders?
I still think
we probably need another couple of players, but goals that we conceded, the bullying of Lindelof, who are they going to focus on really? Wan-Bissaka? No. Mm-hmm. They're not going to try and run through Maguire. They might try and run past him, but then we've got Varane now, who's already read that the player's going to try and run past him, and he's already in that Amondi position where he sees everything, you know? So Varane, if that could be done, especially for that price, I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure. And I take it back, actually. I think we could be title challengers if we sign him. I just don't know if we'll be able to get it over the line. But I think we have to be title challengers if we've signed Sancho and Varane in the same market. I mean, we have to.
No centre midfielder? We'll still be going in there with McEffrey, so, you know.
I think we can challenge. I'm not saying that we're going to win, but we should be able to challenge Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. We should challenge them right to the end. I mean, we've still got Pogba. We've still got Bruno in that midfield. And, I mean, Scott and Fred can still have their games. I mean, I don't see them as bad as you guys see them. I just don't think they're the finished article of what we need to win the league. That's all. Let's maybe read.
And Amy?
And Amy, yeah, Amy. Sorry, go on.
Do you know what? If we sign Varane, that'll probably be one of the best transfer windows we've had in years. Signed Sancho, Varane, Camavinga, and God knows who else they have up their sleeve that hasn't come out in the media yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think John Murta has actually come in and done a good job, because we're actually negotiating for players, while before we weren't doing this.
Right.
And maybe it's Woodward's way of saying goodbye, you know. But I think it'd be absolutely brilliant. And to be honest with you, I think if we do sign Varane, obviously defensive midfielder is very important, but Varane could probably cut out the mistakes as well, which would probably benefit us massively. And you know what, with Lindelof, we know Lindelof with his pace, and he takes one too many touches as well running out the back, but at least with Varane, can move the ball quicker as well. So hopefully, you know, we can cut out the mistakes. I think one thing that massively needs to be improved as well is set pieces, because conceding from set pieces is massive last season. I see there's so many. So hopefully, bringing in these new players, new mindset, new coach and everything. But I think we need to cut out zonal marking, go back to old school man-on-man marking, and I think they'll cut down and concede on set pieces then.
Fair enough. Boy, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not gonna give my hopes up too much. Even though in the corner of my own room where no one can see me, I'll be hoping for this to happen. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if United can get it over the line. Let's read a few more comments before
but anything you see coming up with Mr. B here, my son is he's got my laptop.
Okay, that's
so anything that comes up with Mr. B is Mr. Where are we? Okay, we had one. The last one was from Munzi. We can start from this one.
Okay, so we need a CDM as well. We all agree there. I think what Varane is going to do is that him being there, we're going to be able to push up the field more because we have pace to cover at the back, and that will help us. But we know we need a CDM. Munzi said we can't have them both playing. Who is he talking about?
Is that Munzi? Was that a Pogba and Camavinga?
Camavinga.
Maybe Pogba and Camavinga.
Yeah, just post that in there, Munzi, so we can have a look and see what you were suggesting there, big man.
If he's talking about both of them, I think we can have both of them playing because he has similar attributes to Pogba, but he does all the defensive work that Pogba doesn't. So
the dirty work, yeah.
Mr. B Jr. United only signed Donny van de Beek last window, and these three we are opting on for will be huge for United.
What was that, Chucky? What was that? What did you type? If you're not going to type it properly, don't type it. Sorry, it didn't make sense, mate. Read it first, yeah. All right.
He's talking about the three new signings.
Sorry.
That's all good. Limbal. If we sign Sancho and Varane, we will close the gap, but we need 3 more players. Wow, 3 more players on top of that. That's a wow. Okay. We should be. This is from Solo. We should be challenging this season if we can bring these players. I agree. That's what I mentioned. We should challenge. I don't say we should win, but we should challenge. What do you guys think? You agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think our we've a lot of depth up front, and our attack is actually quite strong. Yeah. So I don't think we'll have any issues on that part. It's just the defensive midfielder because we're going to need someone who can break up play and pass the ball quickly.
Yeah.
And at least then Bruno wouldn't have to drop back so deep. But I also think we need a backup for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He played every single game last season. It's only a matter of time before he gets injured as well. At least we have Telles there to back up Shaw. But I think we have enough depth up front. But I think definitely our back 4, we do need maybe 2 more players for depth.
Fair enough. Munzi, we can't have both Fred and McTominay in midfield. Okay,
we're loaning out. What's his name? What's the young guy? No, the other one. The one who we didn't play last season. Oh my God, my head's gone blank. Thank you, Williams.
Oh yeah,
he's going out on loan to Southampton apparently, isn't he?
Yeah. But that makes sense to me.
We must be looking.
Well, we're either looking.
We must be looking for somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave. You're interfering.
I think we're looking at a new right back cover, or we're going to be relying.
Sorry.
It could be one of the two.
I think Dalot could be used in the Varane deal.
Oh, that's not a bad shout. I've seen reports on that. That's not a bad shout. Okay. Next comment, Mr. B.
Sorry.
All good.
Where sorry.
Great save from the Italian keeper. Why isn't the guy playing? We can have. We've seen that. Is that the last one? I guess that's the last comment, right, Mr. B?
This is Miss Melina.
Oh, hello, Melina. Okay. All right. Well, we can move on to the last point. We have one more point to discuss, and this is a touchy one. Yeah. Gea and Henderson. So recently, I've seen reports that say that Oli has actually maybe picked Henderson to be the number 1 for next season, and I'm hearing De Gea is saying, you know what, I'm staying to fight for my place. You know that, which is great to hear that, but at the same time, nobody has the money right now or the need for a goalkeeper right now. When you look at all the top clubs that could pay for De Gea, who do you guys think will start the first game in the Premier League for Man United as a goalkeeper? Amy?
I think it's going to be Henderson. I think going forward, Henderson is going to be his first choice. Now, he's going to have to do something because be 4 keepers on the wage book and they're over $500,000 each a week.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to get rid of one of them, and Lee Grant is after signing a new contract, so it's not going to be him. So it must be De Gea. But no one's going to want to take De Gea with his wages, you see. So I don't know what's going to happen there unless we send De Gea out on loan for a season and see what happens then. But I don't know. But he has 4 keepers sitting there.
Yeah.
That's over $500,000 gone each week just on keepers alone.
That whole situation just seems like bad management.
Yeah.
It really.
Yeah. Now we do develop good keepers, which is a great sign. Through the years, we've had really good keepers, but I think Henderson is going to be number 1, which is going to say that it's probably De Gea. It's on the way out now. I think for a lot of United fans, when De Gea leaves, it's going to be the most heartbreaking thing because he carried us for 7 seasons.
And he was like, I would say world class. At one point, he was world class at Man United when everything else was rubbish, you know, and he stayed there, even though there was that one time where he nearly left, and the whole situation with the
fax machine.
Yeah, the fax machine. We still have to respect De Gea for what he's done for Man United, no matter how much he's fallen. I mean, he's given us sometimes just him, you know. So
he's still a great keeper, and he could definitely flourish elsewhere, but. I don't know. I just think the keeper situation at United is a mess at the minute.
Yeah, fair enough. Mr. B?
Okay, we say Oli isn't strong enough as a manager. This is what I'm hearing. He's not decisive. If that is the decision that Oli wants to make, as much as I think it's the wrong decision in regards to I believe that we should be getting rid of Henderson and having a buyback on Henderson so that he goes out there, does his thing, and we keep De Gea. I just think De Gea is a better goalkeeper. I'm hearing, I mean, I don't know how Man United or why Man United would do that. We're going to loan out De Gea. Now, you loan out players like Pereira and Dalot, trash. Those sort of players who you hope are going to hit a streak. You know, you can't. I can't believe they're going to disrespect De Gea by loaning him. If you don't want him, sell him for a price that gets him out of the club, where that the team buying him can pay him his wages. Then, if that's the case, if you're choosing to get rid of him, he's saying he wants to stay. Of course, he's not going to say he wants to leave. Why is he going to say he wants to leave?
But that's the problem. You know, there's no team that will be able to pay him those wages right now. Like, what
that's
team?
The problem.
Name me one top team that have the financial backing that need a goalkeeper right now. There's none.
See, my issue is I think it would be so stupid to let Henderson go because he's so young. Like, we all remember De Gea when he was young, when he was Van der Sar's backup.
Yeah.
He was atrocious. He was so bad. But he developed into one of the best keepers in the world. And I think Henderson can develop into that as well, because Henderson has attributes that De Gea doesn't have, which is great. And like we know, Dean Henderson does come off his line, while De Gea does not come off his line. No. He's like stuck to the line. But like, I don't know, I just think it'd be very stupid to let Henderson go, because he can go on to be a fucking unbelievable keeper. Like, so I think it'd be stupid to let him go, to be honest.
Okay, well, we're going to see what happens with that. It's definitely going to be entertaining. That's what I'm going to say for that whole scenario. Let's just read the last set of comments before we finish up.
This one is from Munzi. Jesse, you can read that one.
Never Henderson is younger. De Gea is too old now. He can't even get in the Spain team.
De Gea is only 30 though. That's young for a keeper, so he still has years left in him. Like, so
I still think De Gea can give you 4 years for sure.
Yeah.
Limbo says, can't loan De Gea, big disrespect. You, Mr. D.
You know what? I got enough time for Linville, you know. Me and him always seem to agree on I got enough time for Linville, you know.
Boy, Big Phil, 30 is never too old for a keeper. What age did we sign Van der Sar again? Exactly. Next one.
Oh, that was the last one. That was the last one. Yeah.
So, any last words for you guys before we finish up?
Yeah, I've got a last word.
Yes, go.
Don't sell Pogba. Show Pogba. Let Pogba see. Get the signings done early so Pogba can see what we're offering him.
Okay.
Just that's my closing statement.
Okay, fair enough. Quick.
I think you should, if you find someone to partner Pogba midfield, he will flourish. Because I feel like he has to back up Fred and McTominay a lot, which isn't good. So if you can find a proper holding midfielder who will break up play, who will be able to cover the back four, Pogba has that free role in midfield to do whatever he wants. Bruno plays more forward as well. Bruno doesn't have to cut back so deep. Bob's your uncle. I think if we get a defensive midfielder, Pogba will flourish.
Do you think he's going to stay, Amy?
I say this every year, and I always like, no, he's going now. He doesn't want to stay, but I actually think he will stay. Whether he signs a new contract, I don't know, but I reckon he will stay for another season. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there
you're hearing that, Pogba. You're hearing Amy, yeah.
There you have it. So let's finish off on a positive. You guys think Pogba will stay? Let's finish off on that. So there you have it. Thank you so much for you two for joining us on the show today. Thank you so much for everybody that's watched, that's participated, that's engaged in the show. It's been great. And it's really, I would say as United fans, it's a really exciting time right now because it seems like we're acting like a big club again. We're going after the right players that we need again, the right positions. And it seems like the fans are aligned with what the club is doing, whether that's because of the riots that happened and the protests, or whether that's because now we have people that actually know what they're doing up there. We're going to see by the end of the summer how this progresses. So until then, we're going to be bringing you guys a lot more content. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like so that you see everything that we're going to be bringing to you. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. And we're going to see you again next week. Bye-bye.